How you guys doing today? Um, I got a topic that I want to teach on. I'm going to try to teach on it pretty quick here. Um, I hope you guys are staying blessed out there, and I hope you guys are staying safe. I think the coronavirus and everything, I think is going to really be out of here by late summer, early fall. I think it's going to leave as fast as it actually came in. But I want to teach real fast, guys. My kids in the backyard. It's just such a beautiful day out here. And plus, I should just sit back and teach from here. So let's get to the topic. Can a Christian be rich? How does God feel about his children having money? Not just money, having a lot of money, being rich. Well, I think God wants us to be rich. I don't think God is opposed of his kids being rich. I think God's opposed. He's opposed of covetousness. His kids being greedy. His kids worshiping money. Right? His kid. So, for example, you make a lot of money. You buy a car. You worship the car. You get up in the morning thinking about your car, thinking about how you're going to drive it, thinking about what type of accessories that you're going to add to it, instead of waking up thanking God for giving you the car. I think that's what one of the major issues of us being rich and wealthy as Christians. How is it going to affect us? Is it going to change us? Is it going to move us away from God? All right. So that's one of the issues. But I just want to go over some verses in the Bible. Based on what God is saying about us being wealthy, and if it's His will for us to be rich or not. So this is one of the most famous verses. 3 John chapter 1 verse 2 is, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. So he said, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper. That's finances. And be in health. That's health. Just as thy soul prospers. That's your spiritual progress. That's your your spirit. That's your walk with God. So God is all about his people prospering. All right? He's all about us prospering. He also said in Philippians 4:19 that I'll satisfy all your needs according to your riches and glory. God said he owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. He said that, and I want to throw this in there, that faith without works is dead, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But he also said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. A lot of times you're not wealthy, you're not increasing because you don't know enough. You don't know how to get wealthy. All right, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. All right, sometimes it takes, and it's not even knowledge. And that's when we'll get into works. It takes knowing something about it and then actually doing it and taking action. And another one, which is important, the blessings of the Lord maketh it rich and added no sorrows. All right. Imagine you strive so much at a business and at something that you really want to do. You strive so much, and one day you finally made it. You finally hit the big bucks. You're making millions and millions of dollars, only to lose your family, only to lose your soul. What good is it that a man conquers the entire world yet loses his own soul? God said he'll make you rich and he'll add it no sorrow. All right, so it's best to follow God's way. All right, so I wrote a couple of things down here. So what's some of the reasons why people are not rich, are not walking in the blessings of God? God said he'll give you the desires. He'll give you the desires of your heart. That's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I put it is that people really, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. They're not prepared for it. They're not ready for the blessings. They're just not ready for it. It's like giving a 5-year-old, I don't know, giving them an infinity car or something. It's a blessing to them, but they're not ready for it. They can't handle it. You give them the keys, they'll wreck it. They'll kill themselves. So that's the same way with money. Let's say that you're terrible at managing your money right now. You're not good at managing money, and all of a sudden you come across millions of dollars. What do you think it's gonna tear you into the ground? You won't be able to manage that either. You'll lose that. Let's say you get a little bit of money, you start treating people rude in your family. You start distancing yourself from your friends. You start to come on your high horse. You think that's going to change when you get a bundle of money? It's going to make it worse. Your lifestyle, your life will become worse because you have money. You'll become a cruel person, probably an arrogant person, only to like maybe a few years down the road to be broke again. A lot of people can't handle it. It's just like in the book. I'm gonna walk to my shed here. It's just like in the book when the guy was talking about the talents that the story of the guy was talking about the talents. He gave talents to three of his master gave talents to three of his servants. And the talents you can see that as money, as rubies, some type of finances. And he wanted them to multiply it. So he gave one talent, he gave another one 2 talents, and he gave another one 5 talents. We'll make a long story short, he went away for a while, and then he came back to check on what they've done with the talents that he gave them. And the guy that he gave 5 talents multiplied it, doubled it to 10 talents. So he doubled his money, he doubled his investments. He gave another guy 2 talents, he doubled it to 4 talents. So he doubled his investments based on what he was given. And he looked at the one guy, the guy he gave 1 talent, and he said, well, I only had this 1 talent. I was afraid. I just hid it, so I wouldn't do anything with it. I'll just give it back to you. And God cursed him and took his talent away and gave it to the guy who had 10 talents. So when God gives you a talent, when he gives you something, when he entrusts you with something, when you have money, you have investment, he wants you to make it bigger. He wants you to make your pot larger. All right? And you can see that as many different instances. It doesn't even have to be money. All right? It can be God made you a very intellectual guy who can learn real fast. Use that. Use your strength. Use your talents that he gives you to progress yourself. All right? So let me turn my light on here. Another thing is paying tithes. Now, paying tithes is not a requirement or a prerequisite to God blessing you. All right, but paying tithes will really help. And one of the verses is in Malachi 3:10. God said, "Bring your whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in your house. Test me in this." God says, test him with your tithes. Test me in this, said the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessings that you will not have enough room to receive. So one thing about also getting blessed with finances is paying your tithes and test God with that. God said that he will pour out a window of blessings that you won't have enough room to receive. So one thing, it's not a requirement. God, I don't see in the Bible that said God will not make you rich because you don't pay your tithes. All right, I didn't see it, but that's blessings in paying your tithes. All right, that's blessings in paying your tithes. So pay your tithes, and he'll pour out a window of heaven. He'll pour out a window of blessings that you won't have any room to receive. So, and I think the regular tithe is 10%. Me, I say, you know what? Pay what's in your heart. Because let's say you're paying 10%, but you wrong in your heart. You always complain like, man, why I gotta pay this 10%? Why I gotta do this? No, just pay what's in your heart. I mean, I don't think God wants 10% of your money. It's his money anyway, all of it. He owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. But I don't think he probably won't like your attitude. You giving him 10%, but you giving it all of just nastiness. All of just, man, I gotta do that. If I can, pay for other things with this. No, give what's in your heart. All right. He will want, and in the Bible it states to give 10%, but if you're giving 10%, just being nasty with it and not being grateful, just give what's in your heart. And the last thing, I want to talk about is faith without works, and I'll walk around with this one. Faith without works is dead. And just like I said, guys, God is not opposed to his kids being rich. He's just opposed to covetousness. But a lot of people will never be rich because they talk, and they don't do. How you said you're going to have faith to own your own business, to help out the poor, to give money to churches, to give money to schools, because when you have money, you have power. Don't believe people when they say, I mean, you're a Christian. Christians are not supposed to have money. Christians are always supposed to have help out the poor. They're supposed to live a modest life. No, money is the root of all evil. No, 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 no. Ask the question, why are you working so hard every day for money? Money is a blessing. It depends. It is a tool, but it depends on how you use that tool. A knife is a blessing, but a knife can also be used to kill. All right. So money is a blessing. All right. If you have a desire in your heart to be a wealthy person, to be rich, if you are responsible, if you're not covetous, God doesn't mind you being rich. If you help His kingdom out, He doesn't mind you being rich if you can handle it. Some people, I can tell you the truth, God is hindering you from being rich because you can't handle it. You'll get rich and you'll leave God and you'll go do whatever you want to do in life. And you'll end up missing God when it's time for you to go to heaven. But back to the faith without works. Don't just say you're going to do something and not do it. Don't just say, I'll do this, I'll do this. No, God said everything you do it in excellence. All right, so you say you're going to own your own business, you need to start creating a plan of action. And you need to check off everything you do. Have a checklist. Hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Hard work is how you get rich. I asked God one time, I have a business, I have an internet business. I said, God, you know what? And I'm still working on my business. I said, what can I do this with? How do I expand this? How do I get wealthy off of this business? And I had a vision that night, or maybe a few nights afterwards. I don't totally remember, but I remember the vision. God said, if you want to do this, He said two things. He told me two things, and I'll leave you with this. He said, if you want to expand this business, you want this business to be very successful, He said, I want you to do two things. I want you to work hard, and I want you and do not doubt. That's what He told me. Work hard and don't doubt. That's how you get rich. That's how you get wealthy. That's all it is. Work hard and don't doubt. Trust that God has you and He'll do it for you. Don't doubt. But that's how can a Christian be rich? And overall, yes, a Christian can be rich, but just make sure when you don't have money, make sure your money doesn't consume you. Make sure you don't worship your money. Make sure money doesn't become a god. There's only one God. All right, He'll give you the desires of your heart. But you better keep Him first. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. Whatever you gain. And it may not be losing, you may lose finances, but you'll lose family. You'll lose your mind. You'll lose your emotions. Stick to God. Stay close to Him. And He'll make you rich and add no sorrow. You guys stay blessed out there.